Bryce, what do you think about all this Kevin Durant talk this offseason? What the fuck's going on? What's gonna happen with your cupcake?
It's I don't know. He flip flops more than anybody I really know. I feel I don't know. We thought it was a little early for him to
Yeah.
be doing this already. Clearly, Brooklyn was probably a little surprised too. And like Josh said, they're asking for a mountain for basically anybody on their team. So who knows if they get anything done at this point? It's leaning towards he's probably gonna stay in Brooklyn, but you know anything could happen. I just if we're talking about anybody that needs to be quiet is Kevin Durant, you know, because
Mm-hmm.
he truly brings it on himself. He's one of the most sensitive superstars I've ever seen. He's clearly probably the most talented scorer in the league. You know, I don't like to call him the best player in the league. You know he's up there, but they built this culture in Brooklyn, and we talk about this all the time. Now they got to live with it. I don't care. I don't feel bad. Golden State said we don't need you, even though I'm sure they would have him back. Anybody would have it, all right. But they're asking too much. Brooklyn's asking too much, and it's fair for them to ask that. You know, they don't. I don't. They don't want to get rid of. Nobody wants to get rid of Kevin Durant. They got 3 years to prove that they were the right choice. I think a lot of what he decides to do depends on how they handle the Kyrie situation, which also seems to be a disaster. So honestly, I don't even think Brooklyn really knows what to do, and so I think there's a good chance both those guys stay there. But whether they're happy, that's a different story. And Kevin Durant just he never really seems all that happy. So I don't know. I don't know what they do with him, but I think he was preemptive and asking for a trade and asking for the teams he was asking for because I don't think it's realistic, and I don't think he's going to have the results he's going to want after Brooklyn takes everything from these teams, even if he wants to go there. I just like that. I thought the Heat were going to be the clear front runners, even though Phoenix was number one on the list. I didn't see that as much, but after the last couple of weeks, the way the negotiations have broken down, at least the rumors that we've heard, it just seems like it's too high asking price. Pat Riley sitting over there looking like Johnny Depp with his little beads and rings on. I don't think he's too keen on giving up everything either. So
Look,
I mean, no one's going to get one over on Pat Riley. It's going to be the other way around, and so I just don't see it happening now. So who knows? But
look,
he just needs, to me, Kevin Durant just needs to kind of just pipe down, not shut up and dribble, because I think that's ridiculous to say to some of these people, you know. But he's overly sensitive. So
real quick, real quick, before for Mike and Joshua jump in, I want to drop a quote that Bryce drops all the time, and then I want you guys to respond to it. So Bryce says, and rightfully so, that Kevin Durant is the greatest role player in the history of the NBA. Michael, how do you feel about that?
Based off that quote, I would agree 100%. 100%.
At this
I
point,
mean, think about it. I mean, a lot of people give LeBron shit for going with Miami and let's building that team. The only person they had on that roster was D Wade. So outside of
Chris Bosh. Okay,
outside of Chris Bosh coming over from Toronto,
Ray
but
Allen,
that was
Shea Battier,
no. Those guys weren't part.
Rashad Lewis,
They weren't part of the original one, bro.
Birdman.
Mike Miller was there. It was Mike Miller. Those guys they had to bring those players to the team and have them sign minimum veteran minimum deals and whatnot to be able to afford them. Right? This man Kevin Durant can walk over to Golden State and become the Finals MVP for Steph Curry's team. That was Steph Curry's team as a player. Then you walk over to Brooklyn after they're starting to put together their team. Like, you get to go where you want, and you're not necessarily the centerpiece, but you are the biggest name, right? So let's think about what he's trying to do and who he's trying to play with, right, here and there, or wherever he's going. He's trying to take, to me, the easy way out. And that's why I say his championships and his finals MVPs, the softest in NBA history. Absolutely
Ooh,
softest in NBA history. He's got 2 marshmallows that he's putting on his finger. Those aren't rings; those are marshmallows. So, I mean, when I think about Bryce's quote, I agree 100%, 100%.
Yeah, I'm not too far off there, honestly. Like they just wanted the ring. They just want to chip without the man. They're like, yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll take you back. Sure, if you want to come over and get us make another one, we can bring some more money to the arena. That's cool. But yeah, like every time they try to build around him, look what happens. It falls apart. The man tried to come to Miami. He would not have been the man. It's Jimmy's team. He would have been taking orders from Jimmy. And then as soon as they start barking at him too much, oh, man, whatever. I'm Kevin Durant, blah, 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 blah. Burner account this, burner account that. Yeah, like, that's why I don't want the man here, because as soon as you try to tell him something, he's like, man, I'm Kevin Durant. Bro, like you know what I'm saying? Like, they got swept. Nobody wants to say it. They got swept.
This is something that Cam says all the time, and it's like solidifies my idea of how I see him. And this is he says, you'll get your 30, maybe 35 from him a night, but that's it. And so that's what I think of in terms of a role player, someone that brings something to the table night in, night out, but then there's nothing else. You don't have LeBron. You don't have like him putting on the shades like LeBron did, getting ready to come back from that 3-1. You don't have that kind of determination. Like, I'm going to do everything I have to on the court. Kevin Durant does one thing and he does it great, but he's not your leader, and he's not the one that's going to bring you back, and he's not going to be the one making clutch defensive plays. That's why I'd much easily call Giannis the best right now over a guy like Durant, because he can affect the game on every single play. Kevin Durant doesn't do that, and not taking anything away from him, but he has one thing only to do, and that's to drop 30. And he does that, and that's it. That's why he's the role player in my eyes. And he tried to make it his own team, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. He's the LeBron James like wannabe in that regard.
Oh, I like that. Thank you, Bryce.
At least I'm not like a LeBron fanboy, but when he goes somewhere and wins a ring, you can't argue with it. And he's won a ring everywhere.
Man, bro, like he takes over the team everywhere he goes. They're automatically trajectory going to the finals, or at least the Western or Eastern Conference. I'll throw one more wrench in there. I've had this argument, and this is not a related argument, but it just kind of paints perspective a little bit. So Kevin Durant had a teammate who left, went to a Western team, right? The Rockets, right? And I've had the Dwayne Wade versus Harden argument like for weeks now, but it gives me a little bit of perspective when we're talking about Durant as far as like scoring ability wise. So arguably in Harden's prime, like in Houston, when the man was like scoring at an unprecedented amount, right? Just as much as Kevin Durant could put the ball in the hoop, right? Okay, cool. I feel like Harden, even with that, was able to kind of take his team farther with that ability than Durant has ever been able to without help. So it just kind of paints a perspective of Durant's overall effect. Like if your man Harden, who went from the 6th man to the Rockets, and they built around him, and he was and with the same type of offensive firepower, like both of them are not really defensive powerhouses. They're both like, and one is smaller than the other. You got to think about it. It just kind of shows like Durant's pedigree as far as like what he's able to actually affect on the court, because the game changes as time goes on, right? And I felt like you had people that played with him that were able to take that same game and go farther and affect franchise in a different way than he's ever been able to. And I just want to kind of paint that perspective a little bit. I feel like you said, Durant's just like one of the greatest. I mean, you can't take away one of the greatest scorers, but that effect on the overall flow of the game he don't have. And he's one of those guys that's going to push blame on everybody else when shit hits the fan. He's not going to actually lead people and get people together. That's why the whole conversation of him jumping ship was honestly, that's why the whole thing is falling apart now. I think he's going to end up staying in Brooklyn, and they're going to have to figure that out.
He's got to. He's like the leverage is on Brooklyn's side right now, which is why they're asking for so much. He signed that 4-year extension, and he's only into year 1. So Kyrie, I'll tell you this: Kyrie's gone.
Oh, he's gone. He's gone
this year. If he doesn't get traded, he's gone. He's gonna walk over. And you know what?
LeBron.
One argument that I want to shut the hell down right now is this whole Kyrie didn't play type shit. Yo, the reason why Kyrie didn't play was because of bullshit mandates, right? If you take that away, he plays the season. Let's be real. And when he was on the court, Kyrie was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Let's not paint a different picture
Mm-hmm.
that he's not going to play if he goes to LA. And LA is the spot he wants to be at. So I give Kyrie a lot of kudos for actually, like, I think we talked about on one of the shows where he called LeBron, right, and had that conversation. He recognized what he was missing out on, and look where he wants to go now. He wants to go back to LeBron. Great. I want to see it. Bring it on, right? Sorry, CL, get rid of Russ. Let him go. Let him go. He can go play with OKC again if that's the case. I don't care where he goes. He can go wherever.
That's a nice tour.
But he has that power because he just signed the player option deal, right? So he's got this 1 year in Brooklyn and he can walk. They might as well trade Kyrie and try and get something for him at this point, right? But Kevin Durant, I'm sorry, Kevin Durant, you are asking for a trade. What are you gonna do? I mean, really, you're gonna be on the court, you're gonna be playing, right? You're gonna sit down for 3 years? No. You're going to play. You are at the beck and call of the Brooklyn Nets. You're going to be there. And if they do trade you, it's because they just don't want to deal with the headache. And they would be nice to send him to Phoenix, if you ask me. To Bryce's point, if he comes to Phoenix, who's the leader on that team? CP3. It's going to be CP3. It's not going to be Kevin Durant, but yet Kevin Durant's going to be the best player on the floor every single night, pretty much.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting. They to me, send them to a team for a horrible team that can give you as many draft picks as possible.
Sacramento.
Yeah,
there you go.
Back in the day. So
Boom.
look, back in the day, Mike, remember when we were kids, they were sending everybody to the Clippers.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh my gosh, you remember that?
They were horrible.
Yeah, they sent them to the Clippers. Send them to Minnesota, fuck that.
Well, Clippers are kind of straight now, so